Hey, everybody. Hi, and welcome to the Boss Productivity Group. I'm super excited today. We are focused this month on on your work-life balance. And as an entrepreneur, you know how hard that can be to stay balanced and make sure that you're doing all the things that you need to do to keep up on your life and keep up on your business. And so this week we are talking about self-care, and I have brought in an expert in the health industry. She is a health coach, and we are going to bring her on for an interview here. And her name is Regis Postill, and she is a health coach. So let's welcome her to the show. Hey, hi,
Thanks, Cheryl.
Regis. How's it going?
No, can't complain. Can't complain. Still getting over that illness from last week, but feeling good. Glad to be here.
Yeah, you were, huh? You were pretty sick. You were
Yes.
out of
commission.
out of commission for a while there.
I was.
Yeah, I'm just gonna refresh my page really quick and make sure I can. There we are. Okay, so it's just all right. So to get to our questions, so tell us about yourself and what you do and who you work with and what's going on.
Yeah, awesome. So like you said, I'm Regis. I am a health coach. I help busy women over 30 lose weight without crazy diets and without extreme exercise. I see so many women struggling with their weight and not being happy with their body. And I know that I have the skills and the tools to help. And so that's what I do. And I really think it's important, especially right now, for women to get their weight under control. And like I said, it's almost more important now more than ever, especially what's been going on in the last couple of years, because we're all really cognizant about our health and how when we don't have our health, we don't really have anything. And like I said, I was just getting over that illness. And last week it was like a real, not even a wake-up call, because I kind of already knew to value my health, but it just kind of really reminded me of the value of it. So I don't think it's an overstatement at all to say that, without our health, we don't really have anything. And I know that there's a lot of women out there that are stressing about their weight and the number on the scale and counting carbs and what they can eat and what they can't eat. And it's just so much like mental space and energy. And I know that once we get all that weight handled and, you lose the weight and you keep it off, I know that they're just going to turn all that energy towards other things and impacting lives, like their lives, the lives of their families, people at work. I think really the sky's the limit.
Yeah, absolutely. I know for sure when my head is in the right space, I can do almost anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us about your background. So what got you here today?
Yeah, totally. So I was in school for a long time. I graduated first with a Bachelor of Science in Biology, and then I went back in for a Bachelor of Science in Psychology. Then I did my Master's in Psychology. It was a long time. It was 10 years.
Wow.
I was able to publish my master's thesis in a prestigious academic journal.
Nice.
But while I was in school, I had the worst eating habits. I was, as you can imagine, I think we all kind of went through that in university, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was unhappy with my body and I was trying to lose weight. So I started off with just like really severely restricting my calories. And because I was like relying on coffee to keep going during school, I would just have double coffees, which actually I just realized in Canada it's a thing to have double, but in the States sometimes people don't know what that is. It was 2 cream, 2 sugar, and so that the 2 creams and the 2 sugars in that coffee was all that I would subsist off of all day, throughout school and then throughout part-time work, and I'd walk a lot because I heard cardio. You lose weight. The walking didn't really work. So I started ellipticing and I started running, and I hated both of those things. And because we don't do what we don't like, I quickly quit that. So I didn't really lose any weight. Then that's when I started into the fad diets. I think the worst one I did was keto, which is where you try to limit your carb intake to like below, 10 or 20 grams a day. And I did it really religiously. Like I was really good on it. I put butter in my coffee. It was, I think it was a tablespoon of butter, a tablespoon of heavy cream, and a tablespoon of coconut oil. and then done up with like an immersion blender. And so I did the whole 9 yards. And I think over the whole 3, 4, 5 months that I tried it, I lost like 7 pounds, but then that was it. And after that, I felt like a failure because I had tried so hard and I was so religious with the diet, and it just wasn't working. And not only was it not working, but I was just hungry and cold and obsessed with food. And all I would think of is, when am I eating? What am I going to eat? How many grams of carbs are in that? Is it lunchtime yet? So it was not cool, not good, not cute.
Yeah.
So it didn't really work. But so one day my husband took me to the gym and taught me how to lift weights. And I was hooked after the first or second time. And what really blew my mind about weightlifting was that all I had to do was challenge my muscles and they would grow back bigger and sexier, and I would just get stronger. And that it just shifted something in my mind, where it stopped being about trying to eat as little as possible or trying to control what I was eating. And it turned more into feeding and fueling the muscles that I was trying to grow. And it definitely didn't happen overnight. I had so many ideas and beliefs that I picked up along the way, like all that baggage that we pick up, carry through our lives. Right? So I had lots of beliefs that needed to be shifted and changed. I wanted to learn everything there was to learn about health and diet and weight loss and the body, coupled with my degree, which was in biology at the beginning, right? So I wanted to learn all of this. And then I went to get my certification as a health coach. And it was a health and life coach program, which is awesome. Because we've talked about this before, but it's very, very rare that you're speaking with someone about their health and their life doesn't come up. Because, life is a big system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So once I became certified, I knew I wanted to help other women make the same change that I did. Because the way I'd been thinking about weight loss before was that it was going to be this lifelong struggle that I just couldn't quite put my finger on. But once I figured it out, I was like, no, I can't let other people continue to suffer or struggle under this false mentality about diets and trying all these crazy and sometimes dangerous approaches to weight loss. So yeah, that's how I got here, right?
So tell us a little bit more about that. What is your approach to weight loss then?
Yeah, absolutely. So sustainable weight loss is about way more than what you eat, right? So you can't just create an eating plan and think that that's just going to do it for you. Because as soon as life gets a little bit extra busy or something comes up at work or conflict arises at home, you'll be right back into your old patterns, and that eating plan is gone. Like it's right out of your mind. Right. So to lose the weight and keep it off without having to be on it for like the rest of your life, it requires transformation. Like you transform as a person and your life transforms as well. There's a little bit of knowledge that I include in my programs that they don't teach in school, which is ridiculous, but that's besides the point, another conversation. There's a little bit of knowledge, but there's also a lot of unlearning that has to happen. Unlearning of patterns and habits, like what I had to do, habits and patterns around food and eating. My approach involves peeling back a lot of layers that we've put on top of food and eating, because I'm sure there's lots of reasons why you eat. It's not just because you're hungry or just because it's mealtime, right? So a lot. Yeah, so that has to be pulled back. So we do that with coaching, right?
Yeah.
And there's lots of baggage that we picked up about our bodies and about things like that. And we picked that up through our lives, and we need to kind of address that as well. My approach also involves challenging long-held beliefs and trying on new ones, beliefs about food and about your body as well. There's also a really important part about relearning how to listen to the signals that your body gives you. Also finding which foods are optimal for you, because everybody's different, everybody's body is unique, and not everybody can eat the same things and kind of get the same results. Yeah, and really it involves kind of setting up the conditions for inevitable success. So we have to build these healthy changes into your life as it is already, because you're already busy. And so the way I go about it, it's not that you have to choose between losing weight and maybe going to a holiday party, or you don't have to choose between your health and celebrating with your friends. Because if you have to choose, if you have to choose between those things, it's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be long term, and you're going to quit.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. Because I know for me, it's like if, I always talk about that too. There's a trade-off, either you put your time into exercise and meal planning or you don't. And so, and if you do it again, something has to give, and you're already filling that time with something else. So how do you, retrain yourself? That's why I love your approach, because it's not so focused on, doing all these things that take up so much of your time. I love that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's got to be built into your life or else it won't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So most of you know or may know that Regis is a client of mine. So I just have a few questions. So what brought you to decide that you needed a coach? And then what was it about my program that made you say yes?
Okay. So I knew that I needed coaching because I was working on my business for a long time and nothing was really getting done. My biggest pattern was that I would start something, let's say like a lead magnet, and I'd start working on it furiously. And I'm like, oh, this is so good. And I'd be working on it. But then after a while, these self-doubts would kind of creep up in my head, and I'd be questioning myself while I was trying to work. Like, is this good? Did I pick the right subject? Is it too long? Is it too short? Is anybody going to want this? Is it even valuable? And all the doubts would just, they'd build up to the point where I would just stop the work on that thing and then switch to something else. Like maybe pick a new topic for a lead magnet or go work on a website or something. And that would just repeat. So I had a lot of start and stops. And when you start and stop, you don't get anything finished. So I didn't really make any progress. And it had gone on for just so long that I was just fed up with it. And then one day I saw a master class that you did. It wasn't the one that you just did recently. It was the one you did before that. And I remember watching and noticing how just kind of your approach is so like repeatable and sustainable. And for me, I was kind of like random like this, and your stuff was just the complete opposite. And it was just so refreshing because you're always saying like you build something, put it on repeat, and then just while you are going to improve it, at least it's running for you and your business is going to keep moving forward.
Yes.
Furthermore, you said you were in IT and you use the word Scrum, and my husband is a developer and he uses the word Scrum, and I just saw so many of his good qualities of being, systematic and focused and clear, and all those qualities were just kind of coming out of the screen at me when I was watching your masterclass, and I was just like, I know that that Cheryl's going to help me because I think you have strengths in all the places where I have weaknesses. And that was what made me say yes.
Excellent. I love that. Okay. And so what do you feel has been the biggest value that you've gotten from our work together? Like what was your biggest takeaway that you'll take with you for the rest of your business, the life of your business?
Yeah. Since we started working together, I think I've done more since we've started working together than I've done since I started my business, which is amazing. And since working with you, I've become way more focused. I love Scrum. I love the whole process. It really unhooks me from perfectionism, and I can, do things, get them done, and move forward. I love the backlog because I go get all these ideas and I'll put them all into the backlog so I don't lose them. But then they go away. They're not gone. They're just not in my eye line. So I can focus. I can pull specific things that I know are my next steps, put them in front of me and do them. And the focus, because I'm only focusing on those things, they get done and I make progress, and it's fantastic. Again, the idea of imperfect action is really, really helpful. Because I think those self-doubts I was talking about where it would build up, like, is this any good? Is anybody even going to read this? Da, 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 da. I think all that just was perfectionism, just kind of using its different words. And so putting out the minimum viable product is really helped to kind of, unhook from that. So I can move forward faster. Wow. Also, for me, I'm really kind of new in business. And so you don't know what you don't know. And so stuff that you've taught me and strategies that you've taught me, I wouldn't even have known to do, let alone known how to do. So working with you, something that may have taken me, either months to do or years to work up the courage to even attempt to do,
Yeah.
I've been able to do in weeks with you because you've done it before, right? So it's having someone who's done it before to show you this is how it's done, and don't fall off that cliff, and stay on the path.
Yeah.
It's really allowed me to make like leaps forward, I think.
Excellent. So what do you think is possible now for you? What new horizons are out there?
Yeah, right? It's all very exciting. I love the progress that I'm making. I love that I don't get stuck in perfectionism and worry. I'm about to do my first live event next week. That starts on Monday. I'm really excited about it. There's lots of, work that still needs to be done, but one step at a time, it's going to get done.
Yeah.
After that, because I'm building a great community in my Facebook group, after I finish my live event, one thing that's on my horizon is I want to make an online program and with a group coaching kind of aspect to it. Because right now I do one-on-one coaching. So I want to kind of add a group coaching package as well. That way I can kind of help more people. And I did read some things about pod learning and how people actually learn better in small groups of like 3 to 5 than even on one-on-one. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
And I really want to build up my offer ladder to create some passive income, which again is an idea I wouldn't have had if we hadn't met. So I'm really excited about that too.
Excellent. All right. So a little nugget. What little nugget can you give us about weight loss right now so we can take that with us?
Okay. So when it comes to losing weight, your approach has to be something that you can sustain long term. So if you're making up your diet plan or if you're making up your exercise plan and just the thought of it makes you cringe and it's more like okay, I just have to do this for 4 months and then it's done. If it's something like that, it's not going to work. What we're looking for instead, I think, as far as my experience has gone, is you are looking at this lifelong process. You're going to be making a series of shifts over time. And these things that you're going to do every day for the rest of your life is what's going to give you the, sustained weight loss that you're looking for, but also the vitality and the health that you need in your 50s and your 60s and your 70s and your 80s. There's no real quick fix to it. There's no magic to it. It's a process. There's some experimentation kind of in the beginning, because like I said before, everybody's different. So there's a little bit of exploration and experimentation. And when you take that kind of lighthearted approach to it, it doesn't feel like this struggle that you have to keep going after. And it does help to get a coach to avoid pitfalls, kind of like when I was telling you about how you keep me from falling off cliffs. It's just good to have someone who's done it before so that you don't fall off the end. And also, it's good to have somebody who holds that vision for yourself. Because, as you said, sometimes your mindset just kind of falls off. And when you're having a hard time holding on to the vision and remembering why this is so important for you, someone else to reflect back to you is very valuable.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember my mother-in-law in her 80s going to visit her, and she talked about she wanted to get a dessert, but I don't do it all the time. I still have to watch my figure,
Oh, that's so nice.
It was so cute.
So nice.
All right. So tell us about your boot camp coming up. Let's see. I'm going to grab the link here and I will put it in the comments while you're talking.
Thank you. Yes. So I'm really excited. So I've called it Ditch the Diet Bootcamp. It's a 5-day live experience that's happening inside my Facebook group. And I'm going to be talking about how to set your life up to make these shifts that I've been kind of discussing with you, and to try. So you're kind of building in shifts and systems into your life so that you can lose weight without dieting and without like constantly having to think about it and having to force and like willpower your way through it. There's going to be some exercises to try to get people in action. Because if you're not, taking action, you're not really doing anything. So I'm going to try to distill everything I know into these 5 days. And there's going to be some, there's going to be some activities. And let's see. Yes, that's what's going to be. I'm very excited.
All right, cool. All right. And I think you brought a gift for us, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I made this workbook. It's called The 5 Biggest Weight Loss Mistakes That Most Women Make and How to Avoid Them. And I really think I outdid myself with this workbook. It came from a place of, and everything I make comes from the same place, but it's the place of, man, I wish someone had told me this when I started trying to lose weight. So in that spirit, I put together this workbook. It has the 5 biggest weight loss mistakes that I see women making. I made a couple of them myself. I also included a bonus page in the front where I go through the mistakes that I made. So that thing about the double coffees is in there, and trying to do ellipticaling and hating every minute of it, that's in there too. And so it goes through each mistake. It gives you some example prompts to be like, is this you? Just to see if this mistake is in your life somewhere. And then it goes into what to do instead. And there's some fillable sections that I've put in where, excuse me, where you can record your kind of insights. Like as you're going through this and you're working through the workbook, stuff's going to come up for you and you can kind of write it down in the fillable sections.
Pardon me.
Sorry.
Poor thing.
So close.
No.
Sorry. So
that's okay.
What was I going to say? It's a great place to start. I think if you've been struggling to lose weight, and those fillable sections and the question prompts are really trying to get you to move in the next best direction for your weight loss. So I'd recommend everybody download it. I think it's great. Like I said, I think I outdid myself. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, actually, I downloaded it. I really like it. And I am in your boot camp. I'm looking so forward to it. I need this because I have definitely put my weight on the back burner, and it has cost me a lot of pounds that I want to lose. So I'm really looking forward to it. The boot camp is next week, right? It starts on Monday?
Yep, starts on Monday.
Yeah. What time does it start?
11 a.m. Eastern.
11 a.m. Eastern. It is the Ditch the Diet Boot Camp. I hope you guys can make it to give Regis some support for her very first boot camp. It's really exciting. I'm super excited for her. So thank you very much for the interview and the opportunity to have you here. And if anybody has any questions or wants to reach out to Regis, you can do so in the comments, and she can catch up with you there. But go ahead and get her gift, the 5 biggest weight loss mistakes we all make, and then join her boot camp. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you very much, Regis. And we will see you guys in the comments. Bye.
Bye.